doing? That's not a pinch. I grew up in that household too. Hey everybody, it's Shawnee from Begin With Butter, and welcome to day one of our equipment series, where we talk about the #1 item in your kitchen that's gonna help your baking become so much better. And that item is your kitchen scale. Y'all really thought I was gonna sit here and talk about my mixer on day one of Begin With Butter. I'm telling you, #1, it's not the most important, and #2, we'll get to this later. But today it's just a prop. This is my kitchen scale. It's got 1,000,000 miles on it. It's by the brand OXO, and I love this scale. I actually love pretty much everything that OXO makes. This scale sat in my Amazon cart for like 2 years until my sister gave me one. So thank you, sis. This one is getting a workout in my kitchen. Mine has 4 buttons. Yours may have a few more, it may have a few less. What I can say is that all digital kitchen scales are going to do the thing that they were designed to do, and that is weigh your ingredients. The 4 buttons on mine are the power button, which I'm pressing now. Not every digital kitchen scale has a power button. Some come on automatically when you put something on them. The next button on my scale is the 0 button. Right now, because there's nothing on my scale, it's reading 0. But if I want to weigh an ingredient and I put a bowl on my scale, it's picking up the weight of the bowl. Because I only want to weigh my ingredient and not the ingredient and the bowl, I'll press the 0 button. On some scales, it will be the tare button. And that takes my scale back to 0, so that the only weight that will measure on my scale will be my ingredient. The next button is just a convenience button as far as I'm concerned. It's the light button. And if I press this, my display will light up for a few seconds. It doesn't stay on, but it can be useful, and it's a nice blue convenience, I guess. The last button on my scale is the magic button. This is the button that changes the type of measurement that I'm using from the American Standard of Measurement to the metric system. So that means when I place my 3.5 ounce bowl back onto my scale, I can press this button, and now I know that my bowl weighs 102 grams. This is a game changer. I press this button every single time I use this scale. Let's talk about why a digital food scale is useful. A food scale, well, it weighs ingredients. So it's going to help you weigh your ingredients so that you can figure out down to the gram, the ounce, the milliliter, how much of an ingredient needs to go in your recipe. Most importantly, because I don't like to waste ingredients, I like to weigh my ingredients so that I know exactly how much needs to go into a recipe. It is so easy to put too much flour into a recipe if you're not paying attention or if you're just scooping it out of a jar. Look, I get it. This is new for a lot of people. And until a couple years ago, it was totally foreign to me. I grew up like a lot of you in a household where we were taught to cook and bake using the pinch of this, dash of that, a level cup of this. Oh my God, what are you doing? That's not a pinch. I grew up in that household too. I guarantee that this little tool that you can find on Amazon.com for less than $10 is going to change your baking in a way that will be revolutionary. I'm bringing you all along to make my favorite snickerdoodles. These are also my father-in-law's favorite snickerdoodles, and I can never ever keep them around the house when he's here. As you can see, I've already weighed my flour down to the gram. I added baking soda, baking powder, and salt. Now I'm on to my butter. This recipe calls for both butter and cream cheese, so I will weigh them both in the same bowl, pressing the tare button in between to make sure that I get just the right amount of each. I usually do this step right in my mixing bowl to cut down on the number of dirty dishes I'm creating. I would absolutely encourage you all to do the same. Next, using the same technique to zero out my scale, I measure my sugar. Finally, using a clean bowl and the exact same technique, I measure my egg. Because what is more satisfying on video than a slow motion egg? I really hope you found this information useful, and I look forward to seeing you soon.